Hello and welcome back to our online sessions multiplayer series. In this episode we'll continue working on our lobby screen and we're working mostly on the host settings so you can change which map the game goes into and actually launch the game as well. So let's get started with this. Let's go into the lobby host screen here. So on here I need to replace this with first of all a map selection. So I'm going to have a little map name and a little arrow either side of it that you can cycle between various different maps. Now to handle this this data, I'm going to actually make a data table and data structure about our maps. Now I've made 3 maps, they look like this, so all the same, just with different textures for the ground. Very beautiful, I know, but it will do for our purposes. And we're going to make a data structure and a data table to go along with this, so we can associate level names with the map files and anything else we want to include, like images or so forth. So I'm going to right click here and create a data structure. We'll call this one map data structure. And open this up. And as I said, we're going to have here map name. That'll be a text value. And we're going to have the map itself. And the map name here is going to be a string. This is going to refer to the name of the map file itself. Save on that one and we'll close that, and that'll do for now for us in this instance, but you can add whatever you want to add data wise regarding the maps. We're then going to make a data table from our data structure. So you go into miscellaneous section and see data table. You will choose your map data structure from the list and choose OK on map data table and open this up. And quite simply, you'll just see a simple table here. When we add new rows, we can just say map name here. We'll say Green Hills, we'll call this one. And the map for that will be the name of the map file, which for me is map 1. And you want to give it a row name. And this will be like the ID name that you'll be using to reference this data set. So I'm going to just call my one Green Hills. Okay. We're going to make another row. And we'll do another one for each of our maps here. So we're going to go Rocky Shore. I don't know. Make it up as I go along. Make map 2. And we'll name that one the Shore. And finally, go June Desert. And that'll be changing the row name here. June. That'll do. Hit save and we'll close that. So on our screen here, we need to obviously replace this host label here and set up the options to change the map name. So visually, this is going to be quite simple in this essence that it's just going to be a horizontal box. And the horizontal box itself will contain a button on either side. So go button, and then we'll do text, and then do another button. So it looks like this. So you can click on each of these buttons and it will cycle through the various map names they have. So we're going to label this box here. We'll just change the name of this one to map selector. So, and we'll name various buttons here. So map selector decrease. And this one, map selector increase. And this one is going to be the map name text. Map name text. And this one's important because we need to make it as a variable because it's going to be changing throughout the game. So we do want to put that on there. We have some padding to it as well. So we're going to do some padding on this. Actually, no, we'll make it fill the whole screen here, the width of this. If we go back to my map selector horizontal box, I'm going to tell it to fill. I'll stretch it like this. Then I'll click on the text block itself and then click fill on that one too, and it'll fill up the available space it has. If I scroll down now, I can set it to justify in the center. It'll keep it centered like so. You may want to keep the buttons away from the edge. I'd recommend it for readability sakes. So on that map selector for a horizontal box, go up to the top here and change the padding on the left and the right here to be about 30. That'll do us, I think. Okay. So we probably want to wrap this also with a vertical box to put a label on it. So I'm going to wrap this map selector here with a vertical box. And that vertical box itself is going to have some text above our selection here. And this is going to say map. That. And if I make this text here bigger, it stands out a little bit more from the rest of it. Okay. And with the buttons, you can put icons in or images, whatever you want to use. You can totally do that. That's totally up to you, but I'll leave them blank for now. Okay, so that'll be that part. Alongside that, we also want to have a list of the players' names that have joined the match. So we're going to have a list above it here saying a variety of names. So I'm going to drag in a list view here, and we're going to drag that into. Actually, no, we'll do it as a vertical box. That'd be a bit better. And that's going to go inside of this horizontal box, vertical box. So put it in there like so. We're going to drag it above the map name here. Okay, so this is going to be set to fill. I'm going to choose a vertical box again here and set it to vertically fill like so. And what you get is it pushes it to the bottom and fills up this available space here. Now, this isn't entirely great because obviously I don't want the map to be selectable at the bottom here. So what you do, you can add spacers and things like that to it, or increase the padding of the bottom. I'm going to add a spacer because we probably will be adding stuff after the map as well. So I'll just search for spacer in this list here. This will allow you to add a space at the bottom. Click on spacer and you've got size here, which I can change to 500 for example to push that up. So, and we can tweak that as we go when we add more stuff to this. So we've got a list name being stuff up the top here, so it would be a list of all the player names. I'll give that a bit of padding at the top there of 30. And that would be all the players that have joined the match, and we'll work on that another time. Got map, choose from, and then we're going to put a button underneath the map saying to go, but we also have an indicator for whether or not everyone's ready. The button over here will change its appearance and what it says and its availability based on the ready status of all the players, which we'll have at the top. So let's just keep it simple, just put a button in for now and work on the code for that later. Put it inside my vertical box, put it at the bottom like so, and we're just going to drag that above the spacer. There we go. And this spacer, sorry, the button, we're going to have some padding top of this of 30. Okay. That spacer there, I'll probably decrease that a little bit down to 400. Okay. And in that button, we're going to have some text in there, and we'll say this text to say start match. Set that to black. Okay. That's the appearance of our lobby done for our host screen. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to tell it to also be able to change the color, the character of the player, because the server is also playing as a character in the game, and all the clients can change their characters. We want to give that same functionality to this guy as well. So let's add what we've done here with the map. We're going to duplicate this and put it underneath it, so the player can choose what they are playing as. So I'm going to select my map selector, duplicate that, and we're going to name this one character selector. And I'm going to duplicate the text as well to put that underneath it. So, and we'll just say character select. And let's put some padding in between those two as well. So add 30 there. And we'll probably decrease that spacer again here. Looking pretty good. Okay. So I'm happy with this. The server has the ability to change the map. They can see the players and their ready status, and they can start the match. What we're also going to be doing here is setting up so we can cycle through those various maps. So let's go to the graph, And on the pre-construct of this, we're going to have a list of map data. And that map data is going to come from a data table we made. So you want to right click and you want to get data table rows and get the row names. Plug that into your pre-construct and choose the map data table from your list. Now this will output the row name. So each row of those that we had in our data table, 3 of them will come out of this. We need this to be dynamic because we can add maps later on and it'll still work. So what we're going to do here is for each one of these, we are going to store that as a reference point and a length of it, so that as we cycle through it, we know what one we're currently looking at. So we need to take this out row names and promote that to a variable, and we'll call this one map names. We'll call this, okay. And we're going to take the button selectors. So we're going to go find map in selector decrease. Oh yeah, because I duplicated the buttons, these have also been renamed. Quickly fix that, that's not a problem. Change this to be car decrease, and just to save any confusion, car selector increase, and this one name text. So go back to the graph here, that makes it a bit easier. So yeah, so for each of the increase and decrease, I'm going to do the same thing basically. So let's start with the increase and do on clicked event for this. When the player clicks on this button, we want to take the map names and cycle through it one by one. So we need to know which one we're currently looking at. So let's add a new variable, and this will be the current map index, and this will be an integer. And with that integer, we're going to drag this out and we're going to add 1 to it. Like so. Not increment it, just add 1 to it. And the reason why we want to just add 1 and not increment it is that we want to do a check to see if this is still valid inside our map names. So we're going to drag our map names out, do get, and do valid. You'll see is valid index. This will take that integer and output a boolean true or false, whether or not that number actually exists. So when this enters as 3, that's going to output false because we've only got 3 items in our data table. So it goes 0, 1, and 2. So this will be handling this, and we're going to do this and as a select node and do select int. And if it is valid and it's true, we want to use the +1. So it means it's okay. You can use that number. That's totally fine. And then on B, that is when it's not fine. In this case, because we're going up, we want to reset it back down to 0. So this is okay for this. We'll leave it at 0. We're going to take that and we're going to set that to the current map index. Now it allows you to cycle through each of the indices. Okay, so now we've got the correct index we want to look at. We're going to take the map names, get, and then from there we're going to get a copy and just get the one that we want from here. This will get you a row name, and we just search for data table, and you'll see the option for get data table row. Don't forget to choose your data table from the list. That's map data, and then we got the out row here, and the out row here we can take out here and break this map data structure. And here you got the map name and map. So with this, I'm actually going to tell it to update the map name text. So if I drag out the map name text and do get map name text and then do set text, and you'll see set text, and that'll be set to this map name here. Okay, and we also want to store what is the current map we're looking at here, so that way we know when we click on go, we know which map to go to. So on this map, we're going to drag this out and we're going to promote that to a variable, and this is going to be current selected map, and plug that in. Okay, so that'll handle the increase function. We're going to do the same for the decrease, so click on I just realized I don't car select, didn't I? Do that on map selector. Increase. Oh, map selector. Increase. Same function, it's just I don't choose the wrong one, that's all. Okay, so now let's do map selector decrease and do on clicked for that. And this is going to be pretty much the same, so we're just going to copy all of this and this and copy and paste it underneath. The main difference is how it handles this starting point where it changes the index. So rather than plussing 1, you're going to be taking away 1. So take away 1, and then that goes into, yeah. So if it's valid, it will choose A, and that'll be the one that we've calculated. However, if it is not valid, we go at the other end of it, then we don't want to go back to 0. We want to go to the final index. So you take the map names array, and you get last index. Then plug that into B. And that's the only thing that's different with this one. Other than that, it all works exactly the same. Compile. Let's save that. So we can actually test this out and see how it works. I don't have to worry about putting it on the other machine or anything like that. We can just test it all in here. Testing it on number of players, 2 players, listen server. And we're going to tick play. And in here we can see the host one's now got these options here. If I click on the buttons, I had my mouse. Let's go back and do it. But when this map has been created, we also want to take and go to the construct, sorry. And on here, we want to make sure we are seeing the mouse cursor. So we're going to get the player controller. And we want to say set show mouse cursor. Set that to true. Compile. One thing you want to avoid, because we are using this open void bit here, is that we won't be able to click on it and not be absorbed into the game. That's one thing that could happen, is that the game viewport may take your mouse away because you've clicked through the widget. So what we're going to do is make this canvas here not do that. So you just go onto canvas, scroll down to find the behavior section. Oh, it's up top here. And you want to change it from not hit testable to visible. That'll make it so that you can't click through it. It should just absorb the hits every time. So let's test that out, and I'm going to test it on the local here. I'm not going to worry about putting it on another computer, just to test out this menu and see how that works. Let's hit play on the menu here, go to map. You see the different map names now cycling through. Okay, so all we have to do is just give it a default map name. So let's go back and set that. We go back to the lobby host screen, the graph, and find our map name stuff, and that is here. So what I'm going to do is just create a custom event called init widget, initialize widget, and we'll plug that actually into this, and it'll be totally okay because I'm using the map name here from the current map index, which exists at 0. So that happens there, and then I'm going to call that init on the construct init widget. That initializes the widget for us in our game. Double check that. Go into here. You can see Green Hills now appears here. Take note that client 1 is unaffected. That's because they are on a different widget entirely. So things I do here won't change. Excellent. Okay. So the last thing we're going to do is we're actually going to make it travel to the map and bring the clients with them to the map we've selected. So I'm going to go to the lobby host screen, and we're going to click on the start match button, and we're going to name it here to start match button, and we're going to scroll down and hit on the on clicked event here. And when we do this, the way you actually get the level to transition between multiplayers is to use an execute command. So do execute console command, and the console command is a server travel console command. Now for this, because we've already got the map name selected here as a string, we can drag this out and do append. And the code you need to type in here is pretty simple. All you have to do is type in server travel, all lowercase, space, / and then type in game, capital G, / again, and now you have to direct it to the folder system where your maps are located. So mine are in the folder online menu system / and And to show you that, if I come out of here, you can see I'm in the online menu system. So game refers to this folder, then you choose what other folder you need to get into. So it's // to separate each folder out. You end it with a /, and then on B, we're going to drag in our current selected map name. Like so. And what's left is put in the specific player, and that's going to be the player folder. So what's going to happen is that the server character is going to click on this button and issue a server travel command. Because it's a server travel command, what that means is that all the clients will be told that that's where they have to go as well. So the controller is issuing this command, and then everyone is on the server being told, hey, you're opening this map up. Then it compile and save and test that out. Now to test it, you can't just do plain editor, you do have to launch it in a standalone. So just go down here, make sure you tick standalone game, hit play. So that'll load up, and hopefully this can all work out for us. Take a look. So here are my two windows. They're on top of each other at the moment. So that's the client one. Just going to go into the host one. So host one's got green hills. I can then cycle through the various options. And let's say we go to Rocky Shore. I'm hit on start match. And you'll see characters will disappear slowly. You may want to put a loading screen between this so it doesn't look so weird. It will take you into the game and load you in. And now you can see the other player has joined us as well. I can transition to the other map, and you can see they have also done the same thing. And there you go. So there we have it. We have got a simple map selection tool set up, allowing us to travel to a particular map of our choosing. Thanks very much for watching. If you want to watch more of my videos before anyone else, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Laley, where you can watch that video and more videos before anyone else from just $1 a month. Shout out and thank you to all my patrons and YouTube members for their continued support. If you're watching this and you're not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help out a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.